Right, let's get into it. This is the Inov8 TRAILFLY Ultra G270 version 2, which they have kindly sent me to test out. I think the shoe is out in around 2 weeks, which will be mid-February. I've had it for around 2 weeks as well. So I've done, looking back, between 50 and 75 miles. I've just finished my run today and put some layers on to speak to you about the shoe, because I was going to do it out on the trail, but it's blooming freezing. So I'm going to stand here and do it instead. This is the kind of terrain I've been on today. It's not wet at all, it's nice and dry, but it's grassy, lots of traversing, ups, downs, everything you can get on kind of low-level fells. And then I've also been out on the forest trails, hard-packed trails, even some running down the lanes to get to those, mountain bike paths, lots of wooded area. So I've put it through everything I can probably put it through without the weather turning, so it's not been through anything wet or muddy yet, and also it's not an out-and-out fell shoe. We know that from the first version, so I haven't been out on kind of too steep, or it's not been too technical at all. I've kept to what the shoe is designed for. So let's hear my thoughts on the Inov8 TRAILFLY Ultra G270 Volume 2. What I like to do with the shoe that is sent to me these days is to not read any of the promotional material or even the specifications. I take them out of the box and just go for a run a couple of times, and that's what I did last week. So I had 3 runs where I wasn't aware of the specifications update or anything like that, and I wanted to make my own mind up on how I felt about the shoe. I didn't know the cost or anything like that. So when I first took them out of the box and went for my run in the forest where I live, I originally thought that they might have made them a little bit wider at the forefront, but checking back on the specifications, what's actually happened there is these overlays, which were originally on the first version as well, have been moved back, which is a really clever move, because if you can imagine, in the first version, these were set forward a little bit more, okay? So now, with them setting back, it feels like a nice snug fit across the middle of your foot, which again is what I like. It feels like a precision fit across the middle of your foot. But here, the front of your foot, there's plenty of room there now. Lots of flexibility through the front, which I've tested on lots of different terrain. So no problem there. So I really like that, I guess, subtle change of moving the overlays back, okay? I wasn't aware of that until I actually read the information, so well done to Inov8 on thinking of that. So what this does is, and it's quite noticeable when you're wearing it, especially if you wore the old version, is give you lots of movement through the forefoot, but then lots of stability through the middle of your foot. And then I also like the work that they have done on the tongue, which again is subtle, but someone might correct me on this, but it's a lot wider than the first version, okay? So it wraps around the whole of the top of your foot. In the heel where that sits, this all just feels like a little bit better engineered than the first one. Again, I didn't have massive issues, but there would be lots of grit and grime getting down there, and that doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, it just feels like what you would call, I guess, a higher performance shoe, and that's going to happen because we're years down the line now, I guess. The actual material here that is in the forefoot, and you can see going through it, Inov8 have said that it's 25% more durable, and that's good as well, because although it feels breathable, there's no issues there, it feels very light and flexible and breathable. The durability in the original version was kind of a question mark, I guess, especially where the crease was, so where the shoe bends there, where your foot bends. Not so much on the first version of my shoe, the first pair I owned of the original version, but on the second pair that I owned, yes, the crease there did become a hole in the end, and that was a hole before the sole wore away. So yeah, I did patch it up, if I'm honest, so it wasn't a massive deal, but for some people I know, if a hole develops there, it's kind of, that might be the end of their shoe unless they know how to repair it. Hopefully this extra bit of durability will really match now like the graphene grip, which gives Inov8 shoes big durability. Inside the shoe they also have the boomerang sole, which just feels really nice. It's a bit thicker than a lot of the inner soles, which in shoes that these days cost quite a lot of money, trail shoes, I don't know why some companies don't put a lot more effort into their inner sole. There's nothing worse than having a brilliant shoe but an inner sole that is completely like paper or just flaps around and comes out. I've had shoes that have been great, but I've had to take them completely out in the past. The Boomerang inner sole from Inov8 is good, it feels nice. So that is an update too. Obviously they've got graphene on the, what do you call it, outsole. The grip is a 4mm lug, so perfect for lots of trail, lots of hard pack trail, just general all-round use, and lots of ultras, especially in the UK. It's not specific to fell races or anything too technical. I will be hopefully taking these out into Snowdonia and onto specifically the UTS course, because I think they might be pretty good there, especially on a dry day. So you'll have to stay tuned for when I take them out on some recce's in the next few weeks for that. Just like the original version, it's 0 drop. That's what I really liked about the original version. I like the 0 drop, but plenty of cushioning. So just be careful if it is your first kind of venture into 0 drop. If you had the first version, you will love the feel of these. I really enjoy the Powerflow Max Foam that Inov8 have got on a few of their shoes on hard pack trail and longer days on hard pack trail, so I'm going to look forward to doing that. The longest I've ran in them so far is up to 2 hours, which is a long run, isn't it? And yeah, the comfort level was really good, but also the performance and the precision was really good, which is sometimes a trade-off for me. A lot of shoes might be very comfortable, but you don't feel like you might want to run a race in them, or I wouldn't anyway. I'd be happy to, I'm looking forward to doing some longer days in the mountains, as long as it's like suited to the terrain and feeling this shoe out on a kind of longer mountain run. So as for first impressions go, let's compare it to the older version, and it's a shoe that I really enjoyed. I think it is a worthwhile kind of update, if I'm honest, because sometimes shoes get upgraded all the time, especially in the road running world, and maybe it's not warranted, it's just so that they can sell more shoes. This is a really worthwhile update, I think. Obviously, that will come with a price tag. I think it's set at around £150 UK. And what that also means is you will probably pick up a bargain on the first version now. So yeah, if you just want to try the TRAILFLY G270, then I'm sure you can pick up a bargain on the first version. So yes, probably need to run some more miles in it than 50 to 75 to see the durability and to see across in poorer weather and stuff like that. But like I say, I've only had them for 2 weeks, 50 to 75 miles, and my first impressions are very good and a very worthwhile update. So I thank Inov8 for sending them me. I will keep you updated. These videos are beginning to become more kind of common now in the lead up to the UTS 165 that I am training for. I'm going to use this in training a lot, so you'll hear me talking about them a lot, hopefully, unless they fall apart in a week or so, but I very much doubt that. Very well made shoe, good if you like that kind of precision fit, especially around the midfoot. Lots of flexibility through the forefoot, that's brilliant too. Some little subtle changes, some little subtle updates that I really like. So yeah, all in all, happy to recommend this shoe up to now. Stick with me for the durability side of things.